double trouble action going on here. It's a chunky bass. So, the last couple episodes, it's been brutally cold, and we've been in those dead end canals, deep man-made dead end canals. Now we're mixing it up a little. We're coming to the marsh. These are natural canals, windier bayous, but these are like the ones I like in the wintertime, deep water fishing. So the last episode you saw us talking about fishing creature baits, Texas rigged weedless because of some laid over logs and stumps in the ground. This is all marsh. This is open, easy to fish, open face jig head, definitely the way to go. We're going with the green hornet, catching some chunkies right here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we run into a few reds. Yeah, like I was saying, the last few episodes were really cold days, hard northwest winds. Today it's nice and calm. It's chilly, but we can shed the jacket today. Not as brutally cold, and that's when I like to fish the man-made canals, is when it's like unbearably cold. Plus you're protected from the wind. Nicer days, I'd rather come out to the marsh and get in on, you know, little bit shallower water. These fish are still pretty cold when I touch them, and we're gonna get in some action here. We'll see if we can run into little schools of reds. Right now we're in a little patch of bass. Might be a real red. Nope, nice bass. Nice ones. Chunky ones.
I got one.
You know, a lot of people are like, why aren't you guys trout fishing? Or, you know, of course we'd love to be doing that, but I'm the type that whatever your estuary is giving away at ease, that's what we're gonna attack. You know, in the last several weeks, ever since it got chilly, the bass and reds have been just unbelievable, especially the bass. I mean, we can come out here and catch 20 to 50, maybe even 100 of these a day, and it's just extremely entertaining. One of my favorite things to do. Like right now, you could go down to the wall after a cold front like this and do well with, here, you got a fish.
Yeah, I've been having them.
Good, hit him out. Cameraman's just holding the pole and a fish is on there. Up, you saw him come off. But we didn't really get a good hook set there. He just got the pole sitting there filming, and then there's a fish. But you know, you can catch some trout at the wall right now, especially post front like this, no problem. But a lot of boats out that way, you know, they're catching them pretty good, but a lot of days it's a grind, it's a hustle. I just really enjoy catching a lot of fish, you know, and I really enjoy not being around a lot of boats. And in the wintertime, our marsh bass in Louisiana, they really gang up, and they're very entertaining to catch. And if you like eating them, I mean, it's a fantastic table fare. Fried, they taste just as good as speckled trout. And it's really mind-blowing to me how overlooked they are in our estuary. I mean, you could go to the wall right now where there's some trout, and you're gonna see 40, 50, 60 boats. Or you can come back here and be the only boat in the marsh and catch all the bass you want. And there's no secret spot to this, guys. I'm talking about anything off the Wrigley's, the ICW, the Chef, Unknown Pass. If you are at the wall, that's what's great about the wall. You can hit the trout early, and then once the trout, you know, you get your fix with that, you get into the marsh, find you some deeper winding bayous, and you can blister the bass over there too. But today's goal is definitely to just catch fish, catching some bass right now. And the cool thing about this is you can run into a limit of reds on any given turn. That one, there he is. There he is. And there we go, another bass. What do you know? Fish on. Oh, nice bass. Nice bass. Ooh. These are some chunks here. You know, big marsh bass, as you saw We did catch a monster a few episodes ago. That was a 5-pounder, but that's a big marsh bass. That's a legitimate 2.25 pound bass. That's a really good fish, and that's what you're looking for out here. A lot of fun. And what we're doing right now in this winding bayou is they got a little grass edge line. Nothing too thick, but I'm just trying to, I got my polarized glasses on. I can see where it's the edge line ends, and I'm simply painting the edge of that grass, dribbling that matrix shad across the bottom. John's using the tiger bait, I'm using the green hornet. Both fantastic marsh colors in the wintertime. Green hornet's like a baby bass color. We went over that the last couple episodes, and you saw how effective that is for bass fishing. And you could use whatever jig head you want. There's not a lot of current in here. You could use a 1/4, 5/16, 3/8. That's up to you. And I mean, oh, there he was. Missed it. That wasn't a big one. That was about a 10-incher. I mean, you just catch fish after fish after fish. You just easy fishing, a lot of fun. But you see up here, there's a little duck pond. That's about a foot and a half deep. This bayou we're in right here, dead in the middle, is about 10 foot. And that's what happens in the wintertime is the water drops out. It gets cold in them shallow flats. And the fish just suction into these bayous, making it where they gang up and real easy and fun to catch. You know, if we had to cover a ton of water and make 1,000,000 casts to catch 10 or 20 bass, I wouldn't be that interested. But when they're just piled up in these little ditches like this and you can catch them one after the other, it's so fun, so exciting. Double up. Double up. You got a red. I might have one too. There you go. I think I got one with you. And look at that. We've caught 7, 8, 9 bass in a row. Haven't seen a red yet in this bayou. And then we double up on some rat reds. Nice fish. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big old bass for a finger through. That's what I love about the marsh when I'm bass fishing, is that the reds are mixed in. If it was purely bass, I would do it a little bit, not quite as often. But when I know I got a shot to catch a limit of reds with them, I could do this every day. Look at him chomping on that green hornet. And let me go ahead and make another cast in here and just kind of show you the layout and why this spot is obvious gonna be good. So we're coming over a shallow flat into a deeper bayou. You can see the bayou narrowing up. The more narrow the bayou, a lot of times, the deeper it can be. If you look on the bank right there, we got an incoming tide coming in right there. Whether it's fall or income is irrelevant, but when you go from deep to shallow and you got current on it, that's prime time. Let's see what we got right here. So right up on the edge of that grass, just little dribbles off of it. Now I watch my line real close in case I hit a gully of 6, 8, 10 feet. I know to pause that lure and let it get down a little bit more. The more I cast back to the left, the shallower it's gonna be, as I know that's like a big flat. The more I cast to the right into this bayou, the deeper it's gonna be. And you gotta watch your line, because what you wanna be doing is bouncing it off the bottom. And if the depth contour is changing, you're not gonna know unless you're watching your line. That it's gonna tell you when your lure's getting to the bottom. We picked up a few fish right there as we entered this. Beautiful day today too. Let me throw one back shallow again. So if it's shallow, you can just start bouncing it as soon as it hits the bottom. because, you know, it's only 2 foot. It's a lot shorter cadence, you know, pop, pop, reel, and you slack, pop, pop. If it's deeper after you pop it, you have to wait for it to get back down to the bottom. All right, so we must have milked this little point right here. So now we're gonna enter this bayou. So when I chunk it up in here, I know it's gonna get deeper here. You're just gonna see how my cadence changes. So I'm shallow up on the bank. Pop, 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 pop. Now I gotta wait for it to come off that slope. A little bit more time between pops as it falls into that 6, 7, 8 foot of water. That's why watching your line is so extremely important. Try this side. You always want to try both sides of the bayou. If you got an angler with you and the bayou's kind of tight, narrow like this one person should be fishing one side, one person should be fishing the other. That was a fish right there. Oh, I missed him again. That way, oh my goodness, this one's making a fool out of me. Give me 3 chances. 4 chances. You shouldn't have came for the 4th chance, buddy. That's it right there. So if you saw like the positioning of that cast, I came right down that grass line, which is primo for bass. And that fish hit me 4 times, or it was probably a school of 4 or 5 of them, and this was the unlucky one. That's an acrobatic dude. He is not happy. So now we got our limit of bass. Oh, let me get this little guy out of here. Look at him fanning his tail. I know that's some type of spawn ritual, but they surely shouldn't be spawning yet. But I'm no bass expert. I just know that seeing deformed tails like that's pretty common. Anyway, we got our bass limit already. In Louisiana, it's 10 per person. Where we fish here, there's no size limit. Typically want to keep them anywhere from 11 to 13 inches is a nice one. If it's a real big one, you know, over 2.5 pounds, we let them go a lot of times. But what we're trying to do now we got to weed through the bass to try to find the reds, which there's a good bit of reds, but a lot of the reds are throwbacks. Like this one's close right here. He might make it. Pretty close. But that's what we're gonna do now. So we got our bass. We're gonna just sit here and jack their jaw a little bit, catch and release. We're gonna try to catch our limit of this, redfish. And that's what's so cool about Louisiana, is you can catch multiple species limits. You know what I mean? What other state can you do that? Catch 20 bass, 10 reds in one day of fishing. I mean, it's just awesome. But that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, see if we can get on a limit of reds using the Green Hornet Matrix Shad on our Black Platinum jig heads. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dockside TV. Again, catching bass and reds. This time we're in the winding bayous of the marsh off the intercoastal in Louisiana. I hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to subscribe to our Matrix bait box to get your hands on some more of these Green Hornets as we showcase how effective they are. Come get in on this great bass and red fishing we have to offer here in South Louisiana. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, good fishing.